what brings you in here today?
I mean, I guess I'm just struggling with like time management and relationships and trying to figure out like, well, I guess the main thing is there's like a big decision kind of on the horizon, and I'm struggling with making that decision and whether it would be good or if it might potentially be bad. So that's kind of what I'm struggling with right now.
Yeah, that sounds pretty stressful and could be anxiety right
Yeah.
now. So what is that decision? What would that decision be? What's the context?
So it would be moving to where my partner is in Colorado, who just moved there. So it would be moving to where they are.
Okay. So yeah, that is a big move.
Yeah.
It's leaving, and there's a lot of things to consider. I can definitely understand how that could be a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you came in here today. So we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about reality therapy before we start, because I think today might be a good time to maybe do an assessment together that is a technique of reality therapy. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So in reality therapy, right, there are 5 different needs that it has been theorized that need to be met in order for you to be a functioning human, in order for you to be happy, healthy, etc.
Okay.
And those needs are power, so making sure you feel like you have power in your life, belonging and love, fun and recreation, survival, which would be similar to like shelter, food, etc., sex as well, and freedom and autonomy. So, what do you think this concern you have, with this big decision coming up? Which of these needs do you think that this addresses?
Well, like I guess after I said like this big decision of moving, I realized like that part of it is not so much or I guess it's not so much of a decision. Like I want to move. It's not like should I move or should I not move? I mean, it's definitely a little bit part of it, but like most of me wants to move.
Okay.
But there's barriers to that, right? Like I've been here for 10 years, so I would be leaving a lot of people that I know and security. Like I have a job. So there's those barriers, but also like financial barriers. I'm not to a financial point where like making that decision or moving is an easy thing to do. So that's a huge thing that comes into play. So I guess like the freedom and autonomy, I feel like things are tied up here, and also I don't have like the financial freedom to do that.
Yeah.
And like if I did do that, if it didn't work out, like to be able to come back or go somewhere else, like I don't have the financial freedom to like make a choice that might not work and have a backup plan for that.
That's really hard. That sounds like it's a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounds like to me that the different needs that are not being met, with this current situation that you're in with your partner being so far away and you wanting to move there, is that you're having a discrepancy with power, right? The power, maybe a little bit of freedom. What else? You think belonging, maybe?
Yeah, I guess that's part of it because I idealize my life as being with my partner, right? Like I feel like I belong with my partner. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, like it's working the way that it is, but ideally that's where I would feel the most loved and the most belonged.
Absolutely. And that's a good segue into the other tenet of like reality therapy, which is quality world picture. So like you just said, like your ideal world would be one when you're living with or near closer to your partner, right?
Yeah.
You're able to, have that love and belonging, maybe be able to have the financial means to be able to move or be able to at least visit, right?
Yeah.
Something a little bit more because you feel like something might need to change, right? Yeah, so what else would you say would be in your quality world?
Definitely a higher paying job with benefits and maybe healthcare.
Yeah, that's good.
Just the ability to like travel and feel a sense of security, and I guess that's different for everyone. Like security for me would be like being around the people that I feel secure with, so that'd be my partner and like certain friends, and also like at least some financial security.
Yeah.
So that, I guess that would be part of my ideal world, is that financial security and the ability to move around and travel.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like, would you say it sounds achievable to you?
I mean, yeah, eventually. Not
Yeah.
right now. But
It feels like a long way
if
away.
all the ideal things were like, set up in that way, then I think that would be achievable.
Yeah. Awesome. So what I think we can do now is do a quick assessment to kind of figure out and make a plan for you to move forward in trying to make, this idyllic world come true for you, right?
Okay.
So let's start off with the WDEP system. So that stands for wants, doing, evaluation, and plan.
Okay.
So that takes a look into, what you want. So we'll start with that one. So it sounds like, what do you want? You want to be able to live closer to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you want from counseling?
I guess to kind of like lay everything out on the table and be like, is this feasible? Like, I'm the kind of person that I am is very like, can be impulsive in these situations, like romantic situations where like I don't care how much money I have, like I just want to be around the person that I love. So
Yeah.
like I will move up there with no money, and like I'm not going to depend on them. I'll figure my stuff out. But
Yeah.
like that's the kind of person I am, and I want to
Yeah.
be able to like slow down and be like, well, wait a minute. Like,
That's great.
there's other options like waiting a period of time or like
Yeah.
visiting, and so that's kind of what I'm looking for.
That sounds like something I can definitely help you with. But that's great. That sounds like you just want to take a step back and maybe do something that will serve you more in the long run.
Yeah.
Right? So that way you can make this a goal happen and like it stays.
Yeah.
And it's more of a long-term thing.
Right.
So that's great. Okay. So as of right now, what are you doing to kind of like mesh these two worlds together?
Mesh the two worlds.
Like your reality versus like your ideal world. So like, what are you doing right now towards this goal?
I mean, well, I'm in a master's program that will hopefully lead to a more like financially stable career, and just communicating with my partner, like
Okay.
knowing that since we aren't able to see each other very often, that we're spending more time connecting in other ways, like
Okay.
playing video games together from afar, or like video chatting, stuff like that.
Yeah. It sounds like this is like multi-layered too, right? So like you have your emotional connection with your partner and like those needs are kind of being met, but like the distance might make it feel like a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the money, and then also, the distance and just in general, and like the inability to go out there. So it sounds like a lot of planning will go into this, but it sounds achievable. So let's see. So when you are thinking of your plan, right? So like you're in school, you're working right now, trying to save money, I would assume, or just trying to make ends meet actually.
Yeah.
What are you thinking or feeling about it? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel stuck? Or where are you right now?
All of the above. Yeah, frustrated, stuck, I guess angry maybe.
Oh, okay.
A little angry that it's just like taking so long to get to a point where I feel secure. Yeah, I think frustrated really sums up a lot of that. And there's like more tied into it, like there's certain aspects of my program that are also like, if I leave, it may make things much more difficult.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That does sound very frustrating, and you know, that's something tough to deal with right now. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the evaluation piece of this.
Okay.
So let's maybe take a look at one of the aspects of this. So let's maybe take a look at the details of like moving and the money and all of these different things. So you said what you're doing is you're in a master's program in order to make more money when you have, you know, when you graduate, you'll be able to make more money. That way you'll be able to move, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you want. That's what you're doing. It sounds like, you know, it's a really frustrating time, but you're kind of getting through it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of the job, let's take a look at the evaluation. So is what you're doing helping you get to where you want to be?
About my job?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, it's definitely in the setting that
Yeah.
I'm doing the program in, so yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so.
So you feel like, you know, this is achievable, your goal is achievable through doing these things, going to school, getting a job, saving money, etc., right?
Mm-hmm.
How hard are you prepared to work for this?
See, that's a hard question because, like, a couple years ago, I'd be like, I'll do anything, but, like, that's not true anymore because I also, like, value myself as an individual, and I'm not gonna, like, burn myself to the ground to go move with someone else or, like, for a job that's not gonna be sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tough question to answer.
Yeah. And I think that's something to like navigate, you know, like I definitely want to just say that I commend your autonomy that you have, you know, like I think that's wonderful and that you've like had that realization because the only thing you can control in your life is you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a huge principle of reality therapy as well as you are what you can control, and so let's focus on it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is a hard question. We'll go on to the next one then. You know, we can roll back around to that one another time. Is your current level of commitment working for you right now?
Level of commitment
Towards your goal of moving. So I would just probably guess yes, because your level of commitment to this pace that you're going, your level of commitment to like your school and your job and kind of what we're talking about, and like you feel frustrated here, but is it working for you right now?
is like here working for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess.
And like your preparation for eventually making a move.
Yeah, and not as soon as I would like, but
Yeah.
yes.
So what do you think? So it sounds like you're not very happy with the current situation. So let's just like brainstorm. What do you think might make you feel better? What decisions could you make right now that could possibly make you feel better about the situation that you're in
Mm-hmm.
before you know, get burnt out or, you know, before you're able to make the move? Like what do you see changing right now?
I guess, well, what has been helping me since they moved up there, which wasn't that long ago, is like, okay, so we don't have as much time to hang out and like be together, but I can use that time still constructively to like work on myself. And so getting back into working out and like eating better, those are things that have been helping me kind of like make this situation okay, and like and kind of reminding myself that it's okay to be in one place and not have, I mean, I'm already like in a master's program and I have work, so like you don't have to have like a million other goals along with that. Like it's okay to just stop and like do something, like do stuff for yourself that isn't really going to benefit anyone else except for like maybe your attitude will be better with people.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. And that's wonderful. It sounds to me like you're taking the situation that you're in, you're not letting it affect your behaviors too much.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of just accepting where you are, working on what you can and what's in your locus of control here, while also planning to, okay, you know, I'm in this program, I'm preparing to move in the future, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say that is awesome. So I guess the last thing would be like, so what can we do together to make this plan work? How can I support you in coming up with a plan to get you closer to your ultimate goal?
I guess it would just be like kind of being able to check in with like my frustrations with the process, or if I'm feeling more stuck than usual, like being able to check in and just kind of lay everything out and be like, oh, okay, so I'm focusing like I'm reading too much into this, or like I'm putting too much emotion into this, and just having a different perspective to guide me and to kind of seeing things for what they are rather than forcing it into like a hole that it doesn't fit.
Yeah. That sounds like something that we can definitely accomplish together. I'd love to follow up with you. Possibly next week we can check in, see how you're feeling, see what decisions you've made or what choices you've made over the last week, and how maybe we can break that down to kind of help figure out a way to control how you're feeling. So thank you so much for participating with me today. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Yeah.